Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited. As tonight was Saturday night's main event, and more specifically, John Cena's final match. Now, there's a lot of animosity, I guess you would say, online right now from the wrestling fans because they all said John Cena should have won. Now, my prediction was John Cena wins, but that was not a prediction based off of what you're supposed to do when you go out, because nothing that John Cena did this year was what you're supposed to do. Nothing that John Cena did this year was traditionally how a wrestler retires. So I thought, okay, he lost the match. His second to last match was to Dom. He lost it. Maybe they'll let him get the win. Big happy night, after the show, at the end of the show. But I never once said Gunther can't win. Cena has to win. It's the wrong call if Cena loses. I always said, I can see Cena winning because what they did with Cena this year was unconventional, but I wouldn't be shocked or disappointed or upset if Gunther won. And I thought Gunther winning the way he did was great because he telegraphed it. It's how he said he was going to win. He made LA Knight tap out to earn the opportunity to face John Cena in his final match. And then he told John on Monday, well, he said to the camera, speaking to John Cena, on Monday, I'm going to make you do the one thing you've never done. Give up. I'm going to make you, John, give up. And yes, the fans at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. were not happy with this. And Triple H basically gave them all a middle finger on the post show. So Triple H, and we'll talk about this now. Triple H was on the post show. And he's sitting there and he's talking to Joe Tess and he's talking to Rosenberg and Big E. And the crowd's chanting, "You fucked up, you fucked up, you fucked up." And Triple H goes, "Oh, yeah?" And he looks back at the crowd, basically, and they're chanting, "You fucked up, you fucked up." And he literally goes, "I'm actually mildly disappointed. Thought this chant was going to be louder." Like, fuck you. This is how you go out. A wrestler is supposed to lose and put somebody over on the way out. He explained that. He said that traditionally, when it is your final match and you know it's your final match, you put your opponent over. And that's what they did tonight. And he said, basically, this is what I will always do. He literally told us, if someone is he said, if I have someone on my roster having a retirement match, I'm going to book them to lose. It's basically what he said. He said, this is traditionally how it goes. It is what's best for business, and I will book what is best for business. I will do what is best for business. Basically saying putting somebody over on the way out is best for business. And that's what we've heard for years. You put somebody over on the way out to make somebody, whether they need it or not, you put them over. And the thing was, does Gunther need it? No, he didn't need it. But has now Gunther got something in his back pocket that he can play up for years to come? Yes, he does. Not only can he say, I retired Bill Goldberg, but even bigger than that, I retired John Cena. And so I think it's going to be a great thing that Gunther can, and maybe next year Gunther retires AJ Styles, or Gunther retires Brock Lesnar, or Gunther retires Chris Jericho if he comes back. He could be the new, not legend killer, but career killer, in a sense, I guess you would say. Because Randy Orton's a legend killer, but Gunther, yes, Randy Orton's going to go out there and he's going to lay out a legend, but Gunther is going to retire a megastar, a big-time name. And I can see him doing it again next year. Maybe with multiple people, like I stated. Maybe AJ said he's going to retire. And I think it was Rosenberg. No, it might have been Big E. It was either Rosenberg or Big E. One of them brought up, it might have been Rosenberg, brought up to Triple H, next year, Brock Lesnar is rumored, and there's scuttlebutt going around that could finish up his career next year. And he didn't say anything about Gunther, of course, but he said, before that happens, though, Triple H, can we please see Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi? He didn't say, I want Obafemi to retire Brock Lesnar or have Brock Lesnar's final match. But Rosenberg asked Triple H, if next year is Brock Lesnar's last year, can we please see Brock versus Obafemi? And Triple H actually took that as a, big compliment to Obafemi. As basically Rosenberg calling Obafemi an equal to Brock. And that is a big compliment with how young he is in this business, I guess you would say. So, yeah, very cool, very awesome, very interesting show. Because it's like we all expected Cody to win and Drew to possibly come out, and that's what they did. I was 50-50 on Bailey and Sol Ruka. And then the one thing that I didn't like, I liked what we got match-wise from AJ Styles, Dragon Lee versus Leon Slater and Javon Evans, but I thought the match was short. Let's go to Wikipedia really fast and see how long the match actually went. I didn't look that up, actually. Let's go Saturday night's main event. Wikipedia usually has the match times, so let's go check that really fast. I didn't see how long that match went. It's the one thing I didn't check. So let's go Saturday night's main event. Matches at the bottom. That match went, 6.5 minutes. It felt short. John Cena and Gunther went 23:45. The first two matches went 9 minutes. And then AJ and Dragon Lee, 6:30. It felt super short. And that is short. So, overall, it was a fine show. It was a good show. If you missed it, go back and watch it. It's a good, easy 2-hour watch. I would highly recommend it. If you want to see a bunch of tribute stuff, go watch the pre-show. If you want to see recap stuff, go watch the post-show. But you don't really need to watch the pre- and post-show. But they did a lot of cool tribute stuff on the post-show. Oh, and we also got the Miz stuff with Joe Hendry and Ron Cena. So that took up a chunk of what could have gone to the tag match. So with all of that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for 4 games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can help us out over on YouTube by hitting that subscribe button. That way you know when we go live, when we post the community tab, and, well, when we post a new video. Also, remember, you can help us out by hitting the join button and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get a badge next to your name, emotes, and emojis you can use in the live chat in the comment section. And you also get access to our graphics packages as well. Also, remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. Finally, head over to the Epic Games Store. Head over to the Epic Games Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting the new Kim Kardashian skin in Fortnite. And when you do, you go to the store, you go to the bottom, it's going to ask you a creator code. You do. It's PWU Unlimited. That's PWU NLIMITED. Whether you're on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Switch 2, your phone, your tablet, your Amazon Fire Stick, or any other device that lets you play Fortnite. We'll go over there, buy any of the new skins. We got some Christmas stuff coming. I think there's a cool little, like, ski bunny penguin thing, like a skiing penguin, kind of like got the ski goggles and like the fluffy jacket like you see when people go skiing. Really cool skin coming. And the Kim Kardashian one dropped as well. Go to the store, use our code PW Unlimited. We're very, very grateful for all the people that use it every month. Like, we see it fluctuates how many people use our code every month, but we see people using it every month, and we greatly, greatly appreciate that. We do have some, before we get into things, bit donations from Esports Gaming Rules. He said, quote, "I'm glad Triple H explained the crowd backlash during the post show. It is not like The Rock or even Vince McMahon is booking Cena's retirement run now that WWE fans want The Rock or Vince run WWE creative." I half get what you're saying there. Like, yes, Triple H explained it, as I talked about. Triple H said it's what you do on the way out. I mean, you've seen so many people. Well, it's almost what you do on the... Well, no, never mind. Yeah, no, yeah. Because Rick lost to Shawn. Shawn lost to Undertaker. Granted, he came back for that shitty match in Saudi, the tag match, but that's a whole different story. And you see other people when they retire, they lose their final match. If you know for a fact it's going to be your final match, per se, because Rick came back and had a whole run in TNA that was actually pretty good with one of my favorite wrestling segments of all time, him and Jay Lethal. That's my line. No, that's my line. That's my line. I could watch that segment every single day, and it'll never get old. That is one of the, in my opinion, funniest, best segments you'll ever watch. If you haven't seen the TNA segment where Ric Flair is in the ring with Fortune and he is interrupted by Jay Lethal pretending to be Ric Flair, it is one of the greatest things ever because Rick goes full psycho Rick. Maybe not psycho, but crazy Rick, where he's throwing his shoes. He's telling, hey, I could fuck any. He basically said, I can make love to any girl in this audience, even you, the fat one right there. And like, he goes, and I could talk about this forever. Jay Lethal says the line. He I forget what the line is. I have to go back and watch it. I haven't watched it in a while, actually. I think he said, oldest ride, longest line. And Rick's like, wow. You never know about going 60 minutes. That's my line. And so Jay Lethal just gives it back to him. That's my line. So Rick goes, that's my line. That's my line. They just go back and forth. It's so funny. You'll laugh your ass off if you've never seen this segment. It's the best. But as far as like, it's not like Rock and Vince is booking. Well, no shit, they're not booking. Does Rock have influence? Sure. When he's asked by TKO for influence. But it's not like he's going to just, I don't think The Rock is actually going to call up Triple H or call up Nick Khan or call up Ari Emanuel and be like, I want this to happen in WWE, make it happen. I don't think that's what The Rock's doing. But if any of them call Rock and say, hey, we need to sell tickets, like for example, for Elimination Chamber, we need to sell tickets for Elimination Chamber. We're a little low. Want you to come in. Then Rock's going to give his input and tell you what he wants to do. And then they're going to collab on it and make it happen. So that's the whole thing. He also says, did you see Game Awards? Did you not follow me on social media? I was tweeting about it all night. Anyways, he said, and saw the Street Fighter movie teaser trailer with WWE and NJPW stars on it. And we are going to have a new Mega Man game in the mainline series coming soon. Well, the Mega Man game don't come till 2027. Which is kind of a disappointment because I'm like, oh, why announce it now if it's not coming till 2027? You should have saved it for Summer Games Fest or next year's. You could have saved the Mega Man teaser for something else. You could have saved it for Summer Games Fest next year. You could have saved it for Opening Night Live, or you could have saved it for next year's Game Awards. I feel like, yes, telling us we got a new Mega Man coming, fine, cool, whatever. But it's a little early when you go, oh, but it ain't coming for 2 years. So that's what I'm just like, oh, dang. Okay. I was a little disappointed in Game Awards as far as their one last big thing. From the people that made, what's that game? From people that worked on Titanfall, and it's on the tip of my tongue. I can see the game in my head. What is this goddamn game? It's a shooter. It's an arena shooter. Oh my God. Why can't I think of it? Why can't I think of this game? Why can't I think of this game? Help me out, guys. Apex Legends, that's what it is. So from people that worked on Titanfall and Apex Legends, they're making a new game. They started a new studio, they're making a new game. And it was just like, oh, that kind of looks okay. Giving me Overwatch vibes, whatever. That's supposed to be their one big thing at the end, and it just didn't hit. I'm going to be completely honest, it didn't hit, but other things hit. We're getting Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. We're getting from a student, no, not the finals. The finals, no, I wasn't thinking the finals, mighty. From people that worked on Need for Speed and Burnout, we're making a freaking Star Wars Racers game. I can't wait for both of those games. Fate of the Old Republic and Star Wars Galactic Racers. I can't wait for those two games. And so much more announced. Really cool stuff. So, yeah. He also says Peter Rosenberg's Hot 97 show is canceled, which is big news in the hip-hop community in NYC. Yeah, I don't even know what Hot 97 is. I literally only know Peter Rosenberg because he works for WWE. If it wasn't for him working for WWE, I would have no clue who this guy is. You say it's big news in hip-hop community in NYC. Well, first off, I don't listen to hip-hop music. I don't keep track with anything hip-hop, and I've never been to New York City. I don't keep track with New York stuff. So I have no clue about any of that, to be completely honest. No clue about I don't even know what a Hot 97 is. And then he also says, we knew The Rock didn't show for Cena's final match, but what about Trump or even Linda McMahon? We would have known if they were there, and no one reported either. So I don't think either were there. Like, if Trump was there, they would have shown him. That's the thing. If Trump was there, he would have been shown on camera. And the fact that he wasn't means he wasn't there. Linda? You're saying Linda because there was a report from, I forget who, maybe it was Body Slam, maybe it was PWU Insider, maybe it was Fightful, I don't remember who, that said there's a better chance Linda McMahon is at John Cena's final match than Vince McMahon. Now, Vince did make an appearance. Technically, they put him in the tribute video at the end of the show, which did surprise me. It shocked me a little. But with all of that, let's get into this show. So I have no notes on the pre-show. All I know is there's a bunch of tributes. But show opens up with Lillian Garcia. Well, technically on the post-show, Lillian Garcia sang the national anthem. Then it was like, hey, get off of YouTube and go to Peacock. Ah, fuck. Gotta switch this over. We then see different people backstage. Johnny Gargano's talking to Shawn Michaels. Stratus is there. Kurt Angle. Mark Henry. Then they show actor John Bernthal, which surprised me. Didn't know he was a WWE fan. John Bernthal. You say, who's John Bernthal? Well, you may know him from such roles as The Punisher. He played The Punisher. He was also recently in The Accountant 2 with Ben Affleck, which is a really good movie. And a bunch of other stuff that I can't think of right now. Then they showed a rapper named Metro Boomin, I think. Was this the same guy that did all those Bad Blood commercials with Cody? I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't follow rap, so they all kind of just blend together all these rappers and names and whatever. Then there was a video that played about being the GOAT. It was a video retrospective of John Cena's career. WWE has always been number one in all of sports and entertainment when it comes to these kind of video packages, which I thoroughly enjoy. Then we got a butt ton of fireworks. And then they showed people arriving at the building, including Gunther and others. And then they said, or we heard Joe Test say, welcome to Saturday Night's Main Event. I'm here with a special guest, Stephanie McMahon. Basically, they talked about how Stephanie was here for John's entire career. And she said, this is the one guy that I've been able to say that I was here when he started his career in WWE and ended his career in WWE. Because she was around when Undertaker debuted because, she was a kid at the time. Her parents owned the company, so she was around the company. But as far as being an adult, being in the business, being part of this company, officially, she was there when Cena started and there now when Cena ended. And it's was she not there when Kurt came in? I want to say she was, though. And she was there when Kurt left, finally retired at 35, WrestleMania 35. So it's Kurt Angle may have been another one that she was there when he started and ended. Batista's another one when he started. So there's others that I can think of, to be completely honest. Batista is one. Randy Orton's going to be the next one. So we'll see. But then Joe Test said, Stephanie, everybody here, are you ready? She goes, that's not how you do it. Joe, let me do it. She says, are you ready? And they open the show up with the undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes taking on NXT champion Oba Femi. So Cody comes down to the ring. Oba Femi comes out. And this man, I said it last night on the Raw, SmackDown review, and I'll say it again. This man has a presence. A top guy, big match, big star presence. So, where was I? My notes froze. Give me 1 second. So the two kind of felt each other out early on. Femi, who usually overpowers his opponents, did so to Cody, with Femi throwing him into the corner. Rhodes came back with a headlock, though, showing Femi that he's got some strength and agility of his own. Femi then picked Rhodes up with a headlock while Rhodes tried to quickly zip around Femi, but he was caught by the throat. Femi landed a backbreaker as he methodically started picking Rhodes over. Femi whipped Rhodes into the corner, and Rhodes started throwing punches. Femi didn't like that, and so he picked up Cody and tossed him across the ring. Rhodes then dodged a charge and went for a power slam, but Femi blocked it and hit a power slam of his own. Every time Rhodes would try to throw a kick, Femi would block it, shook it off, and just deliver one of his own. Femi then hit a backbreaker and pulled Rhodes up to his feet. He hoisted him up, and Rhodes rolled out of the ring. Femi charged at Rhodes, but he dodged it and sent him into the ring post. Femi then staggered back, and Rhodes hit a power slam and then a Cody cutter, but Femi kicked out at 2. Rhodes then tried to go for another cutter, but Femi caught him. Rhodes twisted Femi to the outside of the ring. Femi then caught him with an uppercut on the way through when he tried to come out after him. Femi then charged in the ring again, but Rhodes pulled down the top rope, sending him to the outside once again before landing a suicide dive as well. We go back into the ring, and Rhodes came off the ropes, but Femi caught him with a spine buster. Femi then scooped up Rhodes, but again, Rhodes dropped out of it. Femi clotheslined him over the top rope, and Femi went to the outside and hit a sprinting European uppercut on the announce desk. They flew over the announce desk, pulled out cords and everything. Commentary was down for a moment. This match was great at this point. These two just going out there and having a banger. So back in the ring, Femi planted Rhodes with a chokeslam, but only to get a 2. Rhodes was then bleeding profusely from his ear, like Cody's ear looked like it was messed up. I don't know exactly what happened here, but it looked all kinds of messed up. I don't know if it's a ruptured eardrum, if he sliced it when they went over the announce table. I don't know. But Femi tried a pop-up move. Cody countered it into a Cody cutter. And then suddenly Drew McIntyre would come out, punch Cody, and cause the DQ. So technically, Cody wins. Drew gets off of Cody, and Obafemi kind of gets in his face. Oba grabs Drew, very mad at this point. Femi shoves him with no fear. And Rhodes hit a cutter on McIntyre. Femi put the exclamation point on it with a choke slam. So, yeah. Obafemi and Cody Rhodes had a great match that had a shitty finish because Drew McIntyre got involved. After the match, Rhodes picked up the NXT title, handed it to Obafemi, and both champions stood tall together. So again, great match, disappointing finish. Really wish, even if Cody was going to win, which he did, wish we would have got just a solid Cody beat him finish. We didn't need this bullshit. But we get another video package, one we've already seen multiple times throughout the week, of different celebrities, Peyton and Eli Manning, Snoop Dogg, Jimmy Fallon, and others, wishing John Cena happy retirement, I guess you would say. We also got one with Tom Brady. They said Lil Yachty, I don't know who that is, Vanessa Hudgens, and Jimmy Kimmel. Then back from a break, we got more accolades from John Cena, about John Cena, from Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Bayley, Rey Mysterio, Charlotte Flair, Jey Uso, Stephanie McMahon, and a emotional, tearful CM Punk. We also saw some stuff from Tyrese Halliburton and somebody else I didn't get the name from. Then we had Bayley versus Sol Ruca. This was a really good, solid, fun match. This is a great showcase for Sol Ruca. But I just felt like, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, Sol Ruca does a little too much of the gymnastics that pulls me from the match because it doesn't feel like a real fight. You're not doing a cartwheel on the ropes into a DDT in a real fight. If this was, and we're supposed to, suspend our disbelief and think of, is this real? We got to pretend it's real. Half the stuff Sol Ruca's doing here is not real. When Bayley is standing there holding her arm or something as a base, and then she does her little flippy flop. So that's the one thing that I think Sol Ruca's got all the talent in the world. Great wrestler. Gonna be a big star. But she needs to tone down the gymnastics because it's just a little too much that makes it very, very unbelievable at times. So, as far as the match does go, The bell rings and they lock up. Bayley managed to get a headlock and off the top and transitioned it to a waistlock takedown. Ruka then tried to roll her over, but Bayley kept her down and went for a whip wrist lock. Ruka turned it into a cartwheel, and Bayley started working Ruka's arm. Ruka then took down Bayley with a flipping Rana head scissors that really pleased the crowd. Bayley then went back to the arm, but so Ruka countered it into another flippy flop into a X Factor. Bayley rolled to the outside to recover and lured Ruka to the ropes. When she got there, Bayley hung her up on the ropes, and the fight moved to the apron. So Ruka kicked Bayley to the ground and went for a flip from the apron, but Bayley moved and she hit the floor. Bayley then threw So Ruka back into the ring, and the two kind of searched for pins on each other, but only getting really one counts. Ruka then planted a kick in Bayley's face and sent her back to the outside. So Ruka then hit a handspring over the top rope and landed right on her. Ruka then put Bayley back in the ring and went for a springboard splash, but Bayley moved and hit a front suplex, hitting Ruka's head on the second turnbuckle. Bayley then took control from there with a knee to the back of Ruka and then a high knee to her face. At one point, Ruka got to the top rope, though, and kind of did like a handstand, cartwheel, walk, take a couple steps on the top rope kind of deal with your hands into a DDT. It looked kind of cool, but whatever. It was preposterous. She got a 2 off of it. She then went for another springboard move, but walked right into a Bayley to belly. Bayley then hung Ruka in a tree of woe and delivered some elbows. Ruka then came back with a kick and a backslide, but Bayley transitioned into a rose plant, where Ruka countered that into a shining wizard of sorts. Ruka then went for a springboard, but Bayley caught her in another rose plant. Bayley made the pin, and Ruka's foot was on the ropes to break it up. Bayley then hit a back suplex and went for a big elbow, but Ruka got her knees up. Ruka scrambled to the turnbuckle and hit the soul snatcher. Kind of felt like they rushed this a little bit. And then Bayley rolled through it in a pin attempt. Ruka then did the same and shockingly got the 1, 2, 3. So it felt like the finish was rushed slightly. Maybe they were like, go home now. And that's why. But overall, I thought it was a good, fun, very solid match that showed a lot of people what Sol Ruka can do. But at the same time, showed us that Sol Ruka, as I said, needs to just tone down the gymnastics stuff a little bit. It's the same criticism I had with Kalani Jordan, and I feel like they've toned hers down a little bit as well, which is a good thing. Maybe because she's a heel right now is why. But I just think she needs to do a little less of the flippy doos. And it's not even like the Will Ospreay or Ricochet types of flippy doos. It's all the cartwheels and handstands. Like there was one where she bounced off the ropes, caught herself in a handstand, walked it, and then walked it back on her hands, grabbed Bayley for a Hurricane Rana and flipped her for a Hurricane Rana. And I'm like, and Bayley just had to stand there and wait for all of this. And it's just like, you're making your opponent look dumb for just standing there and waiting for you to do your move on them. It's the same criticism I have of the Soul Snatcher. It takes too long. It looks preposterous. And the person taking it just has to stand there kind of hunched over a little bit while you jump the ropes and then do your little flippy flat back. So overall, good match though. Like I'm nitpicking, to be completely honest. They showed a bunch of people there for John Cena, like Sheamus, Rob Van Dam, Corey Graves, Becky Lynch, Michael Hayes, cameraman Tom Stewart, Michael Cole, Cody Rhodes, Undertaker, and The Rock. All wishing John Cena well in his retirement via videos. Then we saw who was there live. Michelle McCool, Rob Van Dam, both shown in the crowd. Sami Zayn with his son. And I was like, Michelle McCool's there. Where's The Undertaker? Is he not there in person? Then we saw that he was just chilling in Gorilla probably because he came out later at the end of the show. Then we got something really cool from Michael Cole. Michael Cole said that I've had the honor to call most of John Cena's big time matches. But there are other people that were here as well that actually played a voice in John Cena's career. He's like, one I want to mention specifically is Taz. Taz was there with me from the beginning when John Cena started on SmackDown. And that's true. Early on SmackDown, for years, the SmackDown commentary team was Taz and Michael Cole. And Taz and Michael Cole, I felt, was a phenomenal group, like team. They were a great duo on commentary. They worked so well together, Taz and Michael Cole. I love going back, watching old SmackDowns and hearing them on commentary. Taz is a great commentator, and he does really good. You know, he did some really good stuff in TNA. He's really good in AEW with Excalibur and Shivani and whatnot. But I feel like Taz with Michael Cole was just some great, great commentary. When you ask me, what's your favorite commentary team? Probably Taz and Michael Cole. But he also talked about, you know, how Corey Graves got to be there with him, calling the latter half of John's career. How JBL is the one that gave him the name Big Match John. And also, Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross called a lot of his early matches as well. We're 2 matches down. We got 2 matches to go, and it is AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Javon Evans and Leon Slater. And it's like, this match was fine. It was short, and it made you want to see it more. You want to see it again. Leon Slater and Javon Evans are phenomenal. They're fantastic. They're great. But I felt like they got shortchanged a little bit. So Evans and Slater wasted no time early on, super kicking Lee and Styles to the outside and doing big dives on them. They were running a mile a minute, 100 miles a minute maybe even, because they knew that they ain't got a lot of time. They got to get a lot of stuff in, and let's go. So as Slater and Evans traded splashes on Lee in the ring, Evans and Slater isolated Lee in their corner and tagged in and out, being a great little tag team unit here. Delivering splashes, kicks, forearms, and whatnot. Lee managed to kick free and pulled the top rope down to send Evans to the outside. Slater then came in through and tried a clothesline, but somehow Lee countered and worked it into a sit-out powerbomb. Evans and Styles then made the tags, and Styles hit a leaping forearm and then a neck breaker. Slater tried to interfere and took a slam. Styles went outside, and Evans followed with a moonsault, but not one went home. Not the one that was seen to go to the home. I don't know why I wrote it like that. Anyways, Lee hit a flying Rana on Slater, sending him into Styles' arms, but Evans stopped him from hitting the Styles Clash. Back in the ring, Evans hit a massive cutter, and then basically for like 15 feet in the air. Then went for a Swanton 450 from, there's a Swanton 450 from Slater. Slater went for the pin, but Lee broke it up, and the crowd started chanting, "This is awesome." Coming down towards the end of the match here, Lee hit a big dive on Evans on the outside, and Slater set up Styles in the ring, but Styles reversed it, tried to go for the clash. Slater wiggled free, but couldn't get away from the phenomenal forearm. Ultimately, though, Styles slipped on the top rope and couldn't land it. Slater then went up top, but Styles caught him in a Styles Clash, and that was it. 1, 2, 3. AJ pins Slater to pick up the victory. So this was a great match, but it was just way too short. Where the other matches before it got 9 minutes, 9.5 on one, only got 6.5, and it was just could have been so much better, to be completely honest. So next, we're showing a litany of tweets from different people, sports teams and WWE superstars and so forth. A lot of sports teams and leagues and whatnot sending out John Cena tributes. I saw one from the Green Bay Packers of John wearing a Packers jersey, one from the Atlanta Falcons of John wearing Falcons gear, even one from NASCAR showing John Cena once at the Daytona 500. But we saw stuff from Kane, R-Truth, The Miz, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Alexa Bliss, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, Xavier Woods, all thanking John Cena. We come back, and they threw it to Stephanie McMahon and Joe Tess at what they call the Okerlund position, paying tribute to Mean Gene Okerlund. However, you could see someone in the ring behind them, and then we hear Miz's music. Awesome! And Miz comes down to the ring, and he starts going off about how I should be on this show. I should be here wrestling on this show. I should be John's last opponent in this gear that I'm wearing right now. I defeated John Cena at WrestleMania. I beat the greatest of all time in the main event of WrestleMania. And it's a shame that I'm not on this show. I'm not allowed to wrestle. And out comes R-Truth, or should I say Ron Cena. And he comes down to the ring and goes, Miz, you stole an opportunity from somebody when you played with Nick Aldis's balls. And who was that opportunity you stole from? It was mine. I'm just like, wow, he really just said that. And so Truth handed Miz the ball with his name or the name of a person on it. And Miz opened it up and said, Joe Hendry. And we got the say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. And all of a sudden, Joe Hendry's on the apron. And he's in the ring. And he's there with Miz and Truth. So Truth and Hendry hit stereo 5-knuckle shuffles on Miz after they take him down. Hendry then hit his big standing ovation choke slam. And then pinned Miz where Truth counted the 1, 2, 3. It was cute, but was it needed? No. Not at all. Was not needed. And this is something I'm going to fear that WWE does with Joe Hendry. That he is just... I don't even want to say it and put it out in the ether. I don't want to do it. Don't make him the next Truth. Because in NXT, he does a lot of just the comedy stuff. Just a lot of just the comedy stuff. So please, please don't do that with him. We don't need to see that with Joe Hendry. He doesn't need to just be doing the comedy stuff. Someone said Joe Hendry? Ooh, he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. So yeah, we don't need to see him just be the meme. Because he's so much better than just the meme. So we'll see how it all does go. But yeah. We then get a thank you Cena video package that aired with that. Some said online that it was kind of as good as the My Sacrifice video. Touched on Cena's accomplishments, his relationships with fellow wrestlers, and the impact he's made on people's lives. Also, this is one thing I'm going to say about the pre-show. So they had Stephanie and Joe Tess on the pre-show. And they aired a video because Stephanie was talking about how, John Cena has done great things in the ring, but he's also done something that no one's ever done outside the ring. He's done more Make-A-Wishes than anybody ever, over 650. And they played this video of John Cena and everything he's done with and for Make-A-Wish, and they spotlighted a couple of kids that he really had big moments with or that he meant a lot to that he couldn't have met because they passed away too early and whatnot. And it's just like, that teared me up. It got me. It got me good. Now, we get this video, It plays. Cena, time for his final match. Gunther comes out first. Gunther makes his way down to the ring. He's wearing all black. He takes off the coat. He's wearing green. Or not green, blue trunks. And then the lights go down. We hear it. I want that. John Cena's music hits. This crowd goes wild. 19,000 in attendance. I saw some stupid sons of bitches online. That's all they can do for a stage? They couldn't give John Cena a special stage? No. You know what they fucking did? They gave John Cena as many people as possible fitting in this building. Because if you would have put a big-ass stage, then you would have maybe got 12,000. You maybe would have got 13,000. No. They went minimalistic and did 19,000. You know what people don't complain about in the UFC? How there's no stage. Because they want to pack these fucking buildings. They want to get as many people in there as possible. And I could care less about having the big, extravagant stages. I like the small, simplistic ones because it looks cooler when it's a big-ass fucking filled arena. When you've got people 360 everywhere, it's cool. Are some of these special stages that we see here and there and whatnot every so often cool? Sure. But maybe just do that for like a SummerSlam, a WrestleMania, and Survivor Series, depending on where Survivor Series is. Royal Rumble, depending on if that's in a baseball stadium or not. But for arenas, we don't need the big-ass stages in arenas. For stadium shows, sure, if it's possible. But in an arena, no. Give us a smaller, simplistic stage where you can see everybody. You can pack the goddamn place. So Cena comes down. They kind of botched his entrance a little bit because I think he may have did something they didn't know about. So he comes down and he walks out, but he doesn't fully walk out yet, and he kind of soaks it in. And then he tells Stu, hey, let me walk right out there and feel this. So he walks out, and the crowd goes nuts when they see him finally out there, out from the stage area, whatever. And he goes, all right, Stu, it's going to be a little awkward. I'm going to do something. And he takes the camera. And he stands in Stu's spot, but then they don't know what to cut to. And so they cut to a wide shot. Well, first they cut to a random camera. Then they cut to a wide shot. And they tried to show Stu's face because Stu was like, you ready, John? But they didn't catch it because by the time they cut back to that camera, Stu was already taking the camera back. So they kind of flubbed that up a little bit. But then Cena does runs down. And it's so cool when, Cena comes out and he gets the big pop. And then when he starts the run, he gets another big pop. And that's been a thing for a while. He comes down into the ring. He bounces off the ropes. He soaks it all in. Lillian Garcia does the entrance. Never seen 17. Last real champion. The greatest of all time. John Cena. And then Cena does something he normally doesn't do. Instead of taking the hat and throwing it into the crowd, instead of taking the shirt off from the one arm, wrapping it around, throwing it into the crowd, takes the hat, tosses it to somebody at ringside, takes the shirt, tosses it to somebody at ringside. He saved those mementos. The last hat he ever wore to the ring, the last shirt he ever wore to the ring. I don't know if he saved them for himself or if he saved them for a special reason. Maybe he's going to sign them and WWE's going to sell them. They're going to put them up for auction. He's going to give them to Make-A-Wish. I don't know. But he didn't throw those two things into, what's the word I'm looking for? He didn't throw those things into the crowd like he normally does. Elite, I don't know what you're talking about. Why are there two mics? What are you talking about, two mics? Only one, right here in front of my face. So, Cena's out there looking emotional. I also forgot to mention that he hugged some people at ringside. He hugged Trish Stratus, Eve Torres, Rob Van Dam, Mark Henry, Kurt Angle, Kevin Owens, Haku. And then he give a little salute to Nick Khan over there. He kind of said something to Sami Zayn's son after he gave him a hug as well. The bell rings. Oh, why are there two mics during Lillian Garcia's entrance? Because it's what they used to do in Madison Square Garden. They used to have this thing come down and there'd be two microphones. And then when they were doing promos and stuff, there'd be the two mics there. And then it was always there for the ring entrances as well. That's why. Because that's how it used to be back in the day in Madison Square Garden when they would do Saturday Night's Main Event or any of these shows. They'd have two mics come down so the two wrestlers could talk right there. Yeah, that's why. Anyways, the bell rings and there's a collar and elbow tie-up with Cena breaking free. Gunther then stepped out of the ring playing mind games and trying to calm down the crowd. There's no calming down this crowd at all. And then he started throwing European uppercuts and the crowd starts chanting, fuck you, Gunther. It actually seemed to rattle Gunther, but in a good way. You can tell that every time this crowd was against Gunther, he loved it. He continued punching Cena, though, knocking him to his knees with some chops. Gunther then scoop slammed Cena and whipped him into the corner. Gunther then went for a chop, and Cena caught it. He threw hands at Gunther and laid him out with some shoulder tackles and a backbreaker. Cena then looked at the audience and called for the 5-knuckle shuffle, and he executed it perfectly as this crowd went nuts. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Boom, dropped it. Cena then hoisted Gunther up for an AA, but Gunther countered and turned it into a suplex. He drove a knee into Cena's face and locked in a tight sleeper hold. Cena flipped out of it, though, and locked in an STFU. Cena was far from the ropes as the crowd went berserk as they were slowly crawling their way to the ropes. Cena then broke the hold before Gunther could get to the ropes, and Gunther kicked him off of him. He then powerbombed Cena, leaving him flat in the ring. When Cena got up, Gunther clotheslined him back down. After every strike, Gunther made the ref check Cena, promising that he was going to make Cena give up. There was a third clothesline there, took him down as Gunther was talking trash. A fourth clothesline, a fifth clothesline. Shades of Brock Lesnar's crazy suplexes. Cena then ducked the sixth one, though, and began to rally back with a shoulder block. He then hit a second 5-knuckle shuffle and nailed an AA. However, Gunther kicked out at 2. Cena grabbed Gunther for another AA, but Gunther got out of it and locked in a sleeper hold right in the middle of the ring. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Cena then powered out of it and put a sleeper of his own on Gunther. Gunther squirmed and wiggled and jiggled and wriggled and friggled right out of it, got his foot to touch the ropes to break the hold. Gunther then slid out of the ring, and Cena followed only for Gunther to backdrop him on the apron. Gunther then threw Cena into the steel steps and dragged the steel steps over to the announce table. He mocked Cena from atop of the steps and then went back to Cena. Gunther dragged Cena onto the steel steps and cleared the table, but Gunther went to set him up for a powerbomb. Nope. Cena countered into an AA and hit him with an AA on through the table. Cena then threw Gunther back into the ring and went for the cover, but Gunther kicked out. The two then laid there for a second, exhausted, as this match right between the 15 to 20 minute mark. Cena then got to his feet first and went to the top for the big leg drop, which is another one of those preposterous. Your opponent's got to stand there like this. Wait for you to hit it. Cena takes forever to climb the goddamn ropes. And not just because he's older now. He's always taking forever to climb to the top rope when he does this move anyways. Cena goes for the pin. Gunther kicks out at 2. Crowd starts chanting, "You still got it." Cena quieted the crowd and asked if they wanted one more 5-knuckle shuffle. As it turns out, they did, so Cena did it. But before he could land it, Gunther popped up and super kicked him. Gunther then hit a power bomb, went for the pin, and Cena kicked out. Gunther then went up top. Cena met him there with an uppercut. He grabbed him and set him up for a second rope AA, avalanche AA, but Gunther refused to go down and kicked out at 2. Both men then got up and started trading potato shots basically in the middle of the ring. They were just throwing shots. They went blow to blow. Cena ducked one and tried to go for another AA, but Gunther countered into a power bomb. He then hit a massive splash off the top, but Cena kicked out at 2. The crowd starts chanting, "Super Cena, Super Cena," as Gunther showed some frustration and locked in another sleeper. Cena started fading as he sank it in harder and harder, and they were down on the ring apron. He then found his guts and stood back up, peeling Gunther's arms from around his neck. Gunther then reset, and Cena started to fall back to the mat. Cena powered out again and tried to go for another AA, but Gunther just barely got that sleeper back on. Cena dug deep and stood up, with Gunther leaping onto his back for leverage. Coming towards the end of the match here, Cena kept his wits about him and drove Gunther into the corner. Gunther ran back in at him and put the sleeper on him once again. Cena, would never give up here, was trying not to give up, and sent Gunther back first down again. This time when Gunther charged at him, Cena hit him with an AA. Gunther kicked out and immediately put the sleeper back on. Cena then clenched his fist. He was I'm not going to give up. And the crowd chanted, "Don't give up. Don't give up." Gunther then wrapped his legs grapevine to John Cena's body. The ref checked John's arm. 2 fell. Third one didn't. He raised his fist back up with more power. Gunther started pummeling Cena's chest. Elbows were plenty before putting the sleeper back on again. This is when John Cena shocked everybody and tapped out. Rings the bell. Your winner, Gunther. Crowd, dead silent. Not quite, but for a moment they were. People crying, people not knowing what to do, some booing. And yeah, Gunther got up. Gunther walked out of the ring and laughed as he left. Showed the crowd some more with very much displeasure. We get a huge wide shot of the arena, Cena sitting down in the middle of the ring, and the crowd chanting, "Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit." And crowd's not liking that Cena lost, but hey, in wrestling, you 99% of the time lose on your way out. Whether you're retiring or leaving a promotion, a territory, you lose. That is just the thing that's always been tradition in pro wrestling. So as Cena goes to slowly get up, you can see him say, "That's all I got," into the camera. He took a bow before Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Bruce Pritchard, who I think was TNA's Carlos Silva. I could have been wrong there, but I thought I saw Carlos Silva walk out there, and just the entire locker room comes down. And once they noticed Triple H was there, they start chanting, "You fucked up." The two world champions, Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, get in the ring and they hand John their titles and say, "These are for you. Celebrate with these. Hold these high and whatever, blah, blah, blah." And so they put them on Cena's shoulders. Cena then takes them and the crowd starts chanting, "Thank you, Cena." Cena then played to the crowd for a little bit while hoisting up the titles. He then gave the belts back and Triple H grabbed Cena for a big hug. Crowd did not like this. He then said, "Look up there." Pointed at one of the big screens far off in the distance, and another video played. We saw picture-in-picture of John watching this video, getting very emotional. It recaps Cena's greatest moments and featured comments from his mom, dad, colleagues, rivals, and even Vincent Kennedy McMahon. They talked about his never-ending quest to give time to every kid, fan, and person that's ever wanted his time. And so we see Vince, not even just for a second. Like, we hear Vince for a good, 20, 30 seconds talking about John Cena. It was nothing new, of course. They didn't go out there and film new Vince stuff, but it was from Vince talking about him in the past. But it was still shocking that they put him on there. His name was there and I was flabbergasted. And so Cena's trying to fight back the tears, watching this video, surrounded by all his friends and colleagues. There's fans in the crowd and everything. And he slowly, steps out of his shoes, takes off the armbands and the wristbands, and he lays them in the middle of the ring. Skechers sit there with the "You Can't See Me. Last time is now," wristbands and armbands. And he gets out of the ring. The roster splits like Moses, opening this part in the sea. He walks up the ramp. He stops at the top of the ramp and just looks at all these people. You can see Cena says, "It's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure serving you all these years." He salutes, gives one final salute, and walks to the back. Now, WrestleVotes had a very interesting little tidbit here I'm going to pull up about walking to the back. So, Big E and Rosenberg said they watched the match from the back. They saw Cena right before he went out, and it looked, like he was ready. And WrestleVotes tweeted out, quote, "Notably, the only talent to return through the main entrance after John Cena exited were Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker. John Cena and CM Punk jokingly began ushering people to go through the side entrance, basically. Like they were like, John's going to the back, give him his space in Gorilla, everyone go this way," basically is what they did. And I can't remember who said it. Somebody on the post show was like, John Cena went to the back, gave his wife a big hug, and was just, yeah. So very cool, very interesting, very awesome. And it was the right thing to do. Even though my prediction was Cena should win, it's really the right thing to do to lose on your way out. With that, guys, that was Saturday night's main event. I thought it was a fun, easy to watch 2-hour show. And if you missed any of it, go back and watch it. It's not like you got to sit through one of these long 5-hour AEW pay-per-views or one of these 3-hour WWE shows that has one good match. No, this is all really good stuff other than the freaking tag match that went too short. Other than that, everything else was great. And the match itself was even great. It was just too short. But with that, you know what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of Saturday night's main event. As far as the polls do go, looking at the, where is it? Look at the Twitter poll. 61% liked the show. 61% liked the show. 22% didn't like the show, and 16% thought it was just all right. Looking at the Threads poll, 63% liked the show, 21% thought it was just all right, and 16% didn't like it. Looking at the community poll, 70% liked the show, 20% thought it was just all right, and 11% didn't like it. Also, this guy is getting... I'm not even giving him a timeout. I'm just banning his fucking ass. Ronald, whatever you are. And Corey, you do the same thing. I'm going to ban your ass too. We don't need all the 50 emojis. We need you guys spamming the goddamn chat. Elite says, Tim, it had to short. Why did it have to be short? You didn't need the Miz segment, and they didn't have a exit time on Peacock. Because they were on Peacock, they could have gone as long as they wanted. That match could have gone 10 minutes. So, Corey, this is your last warning, or I'm going to time you out and ban you from the chat. We don't need the 12 or however many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We don't need the 30, 40 something fucking emojis. Don't spam the chat. Come on, guy. But yeah, so the show could have gone as long as it wanted because it's on Peacock, but they kept it to right around the 2-hour mark. Let me see. How long did this show actually go? Let's go to Peacock really fast. See if Peacock's got it up yet to see how long the show actually went. The show itself is 2 hours and 7 minutes. And that is from start to John Cena walking to the back. 2 hours and 7 minutes. So, yeah, right around the 2-hour mark. And finally, the live poll, 62% liked the show, 22% thought it was just all right, and 16% didn't like it. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for watching twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, I think I might do a Marvel Rivals stream tomorrow. Gambit is available. Gambit, my favorite X-Men of all time. So I might want to try that out. But with that, we'll play it by ear, see how it all does go. And we'll be back for sure on Monday for Monday Night Raw. With that, have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys. Corey says, I'm not spamming the chat. Yeah, you fucking are with all you're spamming the chat when you're putting more than 3 or 4 emojis.